Welcome back to 5 Minute Knives, the channel that looks young for its age. Today, we're going to talk about something you guys voted on. I put it in the community tab. I gave you guys a bunch of topics that could be videos that we talk about in the near future. I think last time I looked, in the lead was why I don't hard use my knives. So, okay, let's get into it. And just to let you know, I'm taking it serious. I even took notes this time. So I think I can explain this in a way that's logical and makes sense. And if it ever comes up again in the comments, I'm just going to reply back with the link to this video because I'm going to go over it all. So, okay, why don't I hard use my knives? Let me count the ways. Number one is I don't really hard use my knives anyway in my personal life. It's not something I do. I never baton wood with a knife. It's not something I'm into. I just generally don't do it when I'm camping. I generally use a hatchet, an axe, and a saw. So for example, my CM6 looks mint. I don't put this through anything. You know, it stays on me for other reasons. I generally use my knives for food prep, you know, small whittling things, things like that, notches, stuff like that, cutting paracord, things like that. Some knives I keep on me for a little bit of the old self-defense, tater digging element. You know, that's a big part of this, and we're going to get into that. But on a whole, I generally don't hard use my knives anyway. Here's my Endure 4 that you guys know I wear every day and I use all the time. And what do I use this for? Box cutting. A little bit of food prep when I'm at work, you know, opening packages, you know. And then the waves on there, you guys know why. Taters. That's why I put a wave on this Knerfel. Because if I ever have to get in the old scrapperoon, I'm taking out a tater with this Sumgrum. So, you know, it's kind of a thing where I don't really beat up my knives anyway in my personal time. It's just not the way I use my knives. And I want the channel to reflect the way I actually use these knives. So I own a knife for a while and I'll use it off camera and then I'll hop on and let you guys know my findings. It's kind of the way I've always done this channel. It's kind of like the thing. Another reason, number dos. Okay, I have very, very little time. It's been cold as hell here in Colorado. Snowstorm today, even. Looks very beautiful out, but I don't want to go tramping around in the woods. Not only that, even to get to where I want to hike and there's no people around, because I absolutely hate hiking and camping when there's people around. I go to the remote places. They're like 2-hour drives from me. So it's kind of rare when I can break off for a day, 2 days, and go out there and enjoy myself. So very little time. Also, not only that, you guys know I'm running my security company now, full-time, 9 to 5, doing all my other stuff. I got a day gig, and on the weekends, I'm knocking out sheaths for all you Sumgrums, okay? So there's a ton of sheath orders too, and I only got 2 mitts. So I gotta whip up all these sheaths. So I spend all my time either working, running my company, writing my 3rd book, links below to my other 2, and, you know, making the YouTubes, which, by the way, where we're at now, snapshot in time, I'm ultra burnout on YouTube videos. Ultra burnout. So I'm trying to develop a system where I'm not so burnout. I can make a few at a time, spread them out a little bit. You know what I mean? Coming up with topics all the time is exhausting. Setting up the time, you know, whatever. It gets to you. It's been 4 years. I haven't missed a post. But you guys try it. You'll see just what I mean right away. It gets tiresome. So really, the second reason is I don't have a lot of time. Reason number 3, when I camp and go hiking, the very last thing I want to do is be connected to technology. The very last thing I want to do is break out the phone or the camera and record some stuff. Not my jam, not at all. When I'm out in the woods and I'm out in nature, I'm breathing the air, man. I'm listening to animals. I'm doing my thing. I'm relaxing. I'm recharging from this life we live that has got us all so bedraggled in this society. I'm not alone. You guys are all with me. We all work our asses off, you know? And because of that, when I'm actually finally out there, I am not thinking about a phone or lugging a tripod and a camera around, batteries, dealing with stuff. You know, clip-on mics, not my jam at all. I don't want to be one of those channels. It's just not my thing. At least at this time, where I'm at. Now, under 10,000 subs, it's just really not worth it. I see guys with channels, they go out there, they hump the woods, they do everything, they hard test these knives, they break them, the whole 9, and I look down and they got 3,000 subs. They're not making any money, and if they are, it's very little. You know what I mean? It's just not worth the time. Me, my channel's growing, I'm doing pretty good, my sheaths are doing pretty good, and I don't have to leave this little desk here if I don't want to. So I think I got a pretty smart setup, so this is also by design, the way I set it up. Top-down design reviews, right? So that's reason number 3, right? Reason number 4, most of the knives that you see on this channel aren't even mine. they're sent in by customers for the sheaths, or they're loaned to me by companies because they want a top-down design review, and I send them right back. So generally speaking, the knives you see, the usual suspects are like the ones I own, right? So, I don't own most of those knives, and I know I got a bunch of clutter on the table. Let me know if you want to see a review on any of these coming up pretty soon. Tops Ice Dagger, I love this knife. And then, whatever, I'll go ahead and make them. But number 5, the extra effort to be put in to lug that stuff into the woods, to do all these hard use testing, to destroy the knife, right? For a channel like mine, it's not worth the effort. It would be too costly. It would take up too much time. I wouldn't be able to make as many sheaths. Not worth my time. That's reason number 5. And then I'm still carrying the shield, by the way. We the People holsters. It's okay. I like this holster. Not bad. Just kind of throwing some stuff at you here. I do want to do a video on the Maxpedition pouch here. I've had these for years. I freaking love them. I swear by them. I want to show you everything I keep in here. That's coming up. That'll be a whole dedicated video, and I think it's actually going to be really good. So anyway, reason number 6. If you guys want to see me hard use these knives, it's actually kind of funny because 1,800 channels have already done it. We can reference all these other channels that go out there and break the knives, It's just crazy because they're already doing it. I watch 8 reviews on each knife that I own, where people have destroyed the knife or put it through its paces or whatever, and I get the data point from that. I don't really need me to do it as well. So that's kind of my take on it anyways. Just, I don't think we need another voice saying the same crap, doing the same kind of content. Although this top-down design feature is similar. The difference being is I'm approaching knives from a different slant. And that's actually going to be reason number 7. And reason number 7 is I approach blades from a tactical standpoint. I trained in knife fighting my whole life, been a martial artist my whole life, super into blades for that reason. Really into swords was my first love, actually. But, swords are impractical, they're tough to get, they're expensive. So for me, when I look at a knife, I look at the geometry of the blade. I look at what it's for. I look at how I could use it and implement in the way I move and scrap, So that's first and foremost. Every time I pick up a blade, that's what I'm thinking. Now, to use these knives as tools for bushcrafting, survival, camp chores, things like that, yeah, I'm into all that too, but that's far secondary to me. Usually speaking, I'm usually using an axe or a saw. That being said, when I look at a knife, my first thoughts aren't about bushcrafting. They're about how could I implement this in the old scrapperoo. And it's just the way I am. It's the way I've always been. And it's kind of the way I approach knives in the first place is okay, this thing can keep me safe. This thing, is a good around the house everyday tool. And, as far as EDC is concerned, what are you cutting that's so difficult? Would I get more respect if I was opening up cans and screwing up the tips? It just doesn't make sense to me to destroy knives for no reason. And again, especially at the size of this channel, 10,000 subs, it's not that big. I'm not making that much money on the channel. I get money from the sheath orders. That's where I'm doing good. This channel is really a device to get you guys to email me for a quote on custom sheaths. So that's kind of my jam, Maruski. And it's working, and it's working fine. And it's growing at the kind of slower rate where I can keep up with the sheath orders too. Again, speaking of scrapperoons, I really love this knife. Kislear Supreme 9-inch blade. I did the handle wrap and reinforced it with a wood epoxy, so it's not coming out, it's not moving. I freaking love this knife. That's my bedside, you know that. And then in stock now, I have a Cold Steel SRK C compact with a tan handle. What do we got over here? Here's the black handle. These are all for sale. I'm going to make custom sheaths for them tomorrow. And I'm going to get a website where I'm going to put up finished things where you guys can just buy. Ooh, this is cool. Here's a Recon Tanto with the orange handle. I think this would be a badass combo with the orange and carbon fiber sheaths that I make. And then what else do I have over here? Probably another Recon. Yep, another Recon in the OD green handle. So that'll be really cool too. If you guys want to buy any of these, I haven't even put them together yet, but I'll make you a custom sheath for it, and you'll see that. But again, that's what the channel's really about for me is, selling Kydex, my sheaths that you guys really like a lot, and keeping myself afloat with some nice side income with that while I invest into my other business ventures and, for reasons listed. So let me know if these reasons make sense to you. Just wanted to hang out with you guys, sort of explain myself. It comes up a lot in the comments. Oh, you barely use that knife. No, I don't use the knife for what you use it for. Ergo, my finish stays intact. I don't baton wood. You know, they say this finish comes off easily. No, it doesn't. Not unless you're batoning wood or something. If you're batoning wood, it comes off right away. But if you're not, there's not a lot you can do to really screw up the finish on your knife, especially if you're like treating the knife well. I mean, I was always taught to respect my blades, so they last. And I don't know, my knives last me, and I use them for when I think it's appropriate. I don't use them for every little thing. And generally speaking, I try to find another tool that I care about less before I dull the edge on something I care about more. And that's just how I approach blades, guys. A little bit different than some of you. Nothing wrong with it. I don't care if you guys hard use your knives, but this to me is mainly defense when I'm out there. You know, I feel pretty comfortable with this damn thing. You know, I could do a lot of work with this. And if I ever found myself in a survival situation, which I have not since I've started the channel, which probably none of you have since I've started the channel, none of us have ever had to bring these things to failure. It just doesn't happen. Now, I have had a couple of guys hit me up and say, hey, my Cold Steel SRK or whatever, you know, broke when I did X, Y, and Z. One guy said I threw it up against a tree and the handle screwed up or something like that. But it's also like, why don't you throw it up against a tree? I don't do that. I don't do any of that stuff, man. So it's kind of the thing, guys. It's a top-down review channel. It's a knife discussion. You know, and I always want to carry it into the comments. It's kind of like my bread and butter is hanging out in the comments with you guys. We make a video to spark the discussion, talk about some stuff, promote my sheaths by emailing me at dragonscalejoe@gmail.com for a quote, right? We have affiliates and sponsors and, you know, get a little bit of AdSense revenue. And if you guys use the link below for anything that you want to pick up, that's all like my favorite gear and stuff like that, mostly on Amazon. That helps us out too. Easy peasy yapanazer, right? So that's how I feel. I just want to hang out with my friends and talk knives. I don't want to go destroy my gear and hurt my finances to make a few idiots clap in the comments that don't understand why I don't destroy knives on videos. It's not my jam. It's not that kind of channel. Gabish. Now, once we hit 50,000 subs, I'll be out in the woods all the time. I'll destroy every knife if you want, because the money will be there for it. I'll do splits like Joe X. No problem, right? I'll show you my nice splits. That's what we'll do. It'll be Joe X. I'll be Joe Z. Okay? And I'll do all the splits that you guys want to see, and I'll shoot knives with guns, and it'll be a real hoot because it'll teach you a lot about, I guess, what they can take if you push them to failure. My thing is, why would you ever push your knife to failure? I respect my blades too much for that. You know? These knives are tools that can mean the difference between life and death if you're ever stranded somewhere, you know, and you really needed that tool to get you through, right? So why am I ever going to disrespect my homie that's going to keep me alive in a bad situation? I'm going to keep this guy as nice as possible. Yes, I know how to use it. Yes, I know what I'm doing with most of my bushcrafty stuff. I can build shelter. I can do stuff like that. I have some skill, and I do practice on occasion when I'm out there, but we're talking twice a year, man. Not enough to sustain a YouTube channel around. So what we do instead is we show the knives that come through the shop, and I try to spark a discussion so we can have a good time. Does that make sense? I hope it does. We rambled for long enough. I'm good. You know, I just wanted to get at you guys and answer your question because everybody seemed to want to know that. Let me know in the comments what you want to see in the future, and I will get on it. No problemo. And I got some exciting things coming to the channel via other companies that want to work with us and stuff. So we're doing good. Everything's fine. I love you guys. I appreciate you buying the sheaths. Big time. This is the bread and butter. This is what we do here. And again, you know, thank you so much to all my great customers. You guys are like the sweetest people on the planet. I'm not even kidding. And I'm not saying that to be goofy, but like, I'm really blessed with some amazing customers. You guys are patient with me. Not that you need to be because my turnaround's lightning, but you don't harass me. You don't bother me. You trust me with your expensive knives. I make you what I can make, and you thank me. I mean, you can't get a better company than that as far as satisfaction on both ends. So I'm thrilled that I can offer you guys a service. Thank you so much for supporting the channel these last 4 years. You really kept me going through burnouts such as this one. I'm going to get back into the routine soon, I promise. I'm going to have some new knives to show. I'm going to get into a lot more folders, I think, even though it's not my thing. I'm just going to have companies send them to me so I can show them off, tell you what I think of the designs, and give you a different look. Best I can do. Other than that, you guys just have yourself a great week. Please be safe out there. The world's a crazy place. And I'll catch you guys next time on 5 Minute Knives.